This week in theaters, we saw Fast and Furious. No thes.
No, they took the thes out for the fourth one. It's probably in the shot. Let's get another beer. Okay.
Beer guy. Beer me.
Fast and Furious. We're trying something new. We're not going to say who directed it, who did anything, unless we want to. It is going to now come up right here. If everything is said and done with our editing department, i.e. me and Ben as well, hopefully it's down there and looks quite pleasant and you can read it. So, yeah, Fast and Furious. I was really excited to see this movie because I'm a huge fan of the whole franchise that is now in effect.
I love these
Sam and M's are good. But I knew it was probably going to fall short of the first one, which was the best of the series.
It's the thes.
Yeah, it's the thes that make the movie. I'm not going to eat when I'm talking.
I will.
And it pretty much came in right where I thought it was going to. I really wish there was a little more driving in this movie, or racing rather.
Yeah, they only had like one or two major races. Those was one major race.
Yeah, they did a lot of chasing in this,
yeah.
Which is,
makes sense.
Was
on the run.
Yeah, they spliced some chase scenes in on the first one, and I think having the original cast, they couldn't do the exact same movie, right? But I think how it was laid out in the first one worked a lot better than this one, and they're prying way too hard into the underlining stories from the first one, like kind of forcing it on you, like without actually explaining anything.
Well, they did, because this one happens like after the second one. Is it after the second one or in between the first and the second?
I honestly don't know, but I think it is supposedly after the second one because
yeah, that's what I think.
That's what I make. It makes sense to me because they brought Paul Walker's character back on to be a cop again,
yeah,
or FBI agent this time.
Yeah,
and that guy from Tokyo Drift who dies in Tokyo Drift was in this movie at the beginning.
And
then he says,
like,
"Oh, I hear there's some crazy stuff in Tokyo."
Yeah,
so I like that because he's a really good character in all the movies he plays. I think actually.
And they kept mentioning like the races that like Paul Walker and Vin Diesel, they kept mentioning back and forth to each other the races that they did before.
Yeah.
In like the 10-second car and shit like that.
Yeah, he's just like, you owe me a car now, and he just busts a window. He's like,
yeah.
There you go.
So people who haven't seen the original will be like,
they won't get the
inside jokes.
There's definitely a lot of inside stuff which I liked because I've seen the first one so many times, but they kind of, I don't know, they killed off what's her name's character.
No, they didn't.
Yeah, they did.
No,
And they killed like everybody in this movie, and then that other guy died as well, and then the guy who got hit by the car was pretty sweet.
Oh yeah, he had it coming.
Yeah, he did. Now we're just going insiders knowledge on this.
Yeah.
But Vin Diesel is amazing all the time in that role, you know? This is the role that pretty much made him a star.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because he has like a complete circle. Like Vin Diesel started with Fast and the Furious, and then he went and did The Pacifier and shit like that, and now he kind of did a full circle. Now he's back at the franchise that kind of started his career,
which is cool. And I'm quite happy that all the characters pretty much came back to do this because it was such a big success for them. And like, I don't like actors that don't do that, you know? It's pretty much like a plug for more money.
It shows like I'm better than that now.
Yeah, exactly. Screw that. Like, this is a movie and they're staying loyal to this franchise that has been built around those characters, right?
Yeah.
And staying loyal to a franchise like this is, I commend them for that because, you know, and it was still a fun time at the movies for me. You know, there was some good racing scenes, some good crashing, some good, good action and this and that.
Yeah.
But obviously the story and everything was just like, what? Why are these characters even really together again? You know, there wasn't really much of a story to this one. I think the story in Tokyo Drift had more to it.
Yeah.
Too Fast, Too Furious was just ridiculous.
Yeah, but the whole thing with the rat on the guy's stomach, that was actually kind of cool, actually. But what's his name? Who's in the second one? It was Paul Walker and the other guy.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, I don't want to talk about the second one. I want to talk about this one.
Yeah, go ahead.
I didn't like it. You know, I liked the first Fast and the Furious, and I liked the second one, and Tokyo Drift was okay. I thought it was just kind of like a rehashing of the first one in a completely different place.
Mm-hmm.
But regardless of that, I thought this one had a terrible script, weak script. Like, a lot of those heartfelt moments where it was like the two actors, like Jordana Brewster and Paul Walker, just like trying to reconnect on their relationship from before.
His one line, he's just like, hey. And then just like,
hey.
Ugh.
Yeah.
And they're back together.
Like, that's stupid. Like, I know those parts are supposed to like pull at people's heartstrings, but it was hard for me to like not laugh at those parts.
Mm-hmm.
Especially the part where he was like, you ever think about that stuff? Like, you know, you ever think about the past? And he's like, every day. He's like, I've seen that in like 25,000 other movies where you have this exact same relationship. And a lot of this movie is, like you said, it's trying to tie in with the old one.
Heavily.
Yeah, because they don't want to confuse people, and they want to, you know, make it pretty clear that this is a movie that happened in between the second and Tokyo Drift, right? So they try and make it clear, but I think at times it was just too obvious. And
I definitely like how they're still slinging their old tricks. You know, like now they're tying into the new age, and they're stealing gas, you know, or like whatever it was, like off of the trucks instead of like
liquid gold.
Yeah, liquid gold instead of
I thought oil
like
was liquid gold.
Yeah, instead of electronics and going under, they just freeze the thing and smash it.
That was the other thing I found really funny is when they went through that tunnel.
Yeah.
How the hell can you go like 150 miles an hour through a tunnel this big that you don't know where you're going? It's just constantly like this, like this, like this. Like, how the fuck? Like, you can be the best driver in the world. If you don't know where you're going, you're going to crash into something if you don't see it, if you're going that fast.
Well,
like,
did you hear that one-liner from the bad guy who was behind him? Welcome to my world now, or something, you know, the second time through.
Yeah,
it.
well, I saw that they kept on, like, crashing through walls, but every time you saw a wall that it looked like they were going to crash into, they just went right through it. Like, it was like a boarded up wall or something. Yeah. But whenever, like, one of the extras, like, chasing them,
it was like
saw
rocks.
It was like, boom! Like, that guy's done. It was just kind of dumb, and I thought a lot of this movie was just dumb. I liked the chase scenes, and the opening bit, like the first 10 minutes of the movie, is really, really good. That's what sold it. Like, when I saw the first trailer, and it was just that bit,
yeah, I
was like, this movie looks really good, you know, based on that. And it was good for that first 10 minutes, and then it started getting into the melodrama shit between, like, Rodriguez and
there wasn't like I said, like they didn't fill in the gaps enough, you know. Yeah,
no, they didn't. And I don't know, and it the end when Toretto, I'm not going to say what happens at the end. I don't want to do that.
No, the end was pretty lame.
But yeah, you know, the end is good. They're going to try and set it up for more because they obviously want to bank on
a successful series of movies, but I think Vin Diesel's face at the end, where he just pulls a smirk, is like the perfect, like, because it's just like, and I think everyone kind of felt the same way. Like, oh fuck, the series is kind of going a little bit.
I thought it was really funny too how Jordana Brewster, square jaw, she has a square face.
Okay.
She's like a rectangle Mr. Potato Head or something. Like Mr. Potato Head's incest child. That he had with a Lego block or something.
You say the most random thing.
I thought it was funny how she was driving at the end, because I've never seen her drive.
She couldn't drive in the first one. That was the whole thing.
Right. And then, like, in this one, like, she was just like stay-at-home mom type character, you know, coming home with the groceries and shit.
And then starts crying.
Yeah. And then
okay, what do you give it, Ben?
I'm giving this 2.5 out of 6.
I obviously liked it a little more but it still felt more flat than I would have liked it to. But I'm giving it 3.5.
All right.
3.5 bottles, man.
Did we mention M?
And then.
And M. Bye-bye.